All right, guys, so in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys the story of my first week selling life insurance. If you're a brand new agent who's just kind of getting into the business, this is going to give you an idea of what it's actually like, what to expect, and ultimately how to get through your first week. Because I truly believe that, that is one of the toughest part of this business is getting through the first bit of it. And I'm going to kind of give you guys like an actionable step or a mindset shift that you need to have coming into this business to help you guys succeed, right? So if we haven't met yet, my name is Tim Shooker. I'm building a life insurance agency. Goal is to get it to $100 million. So that's just kind of like our goal. What I usually do most of my day is work on building that. And then in my free time, I like to make videos for YouTube like this to help new agents get to the point where they're able to make six figures over the phone. So that's me. That's what I do. When I first got into the business, it was about 3.5 years ago. And I was working for this company. It was like an older IMO. They had been around for a while, one of the older ones in the country. And basically, the model that we were doing is it was direct mail leads, right? So they would give us this like stack of direct mail leads. And the way that they generated these leads is they were free Walmart gift card leads. And so what does that mean? Basically, what they would do is they would send out these cards, and on the card it said, hey, send this back. There's a little check box. It says, send this back for a free Walmart gift card. Didn't say how much the gift card was. It was $5, spoiler alert, but they didn't know that. So they would always be a little bit angry. And then in small lettering on the lead card, it then said, state regulated life insurance benefits. So it was like double whammy misleading. Absolutely terrible lead in retrospect, right? And I didn't know any better at the time, so I was like, gung-ho to go and do this. So I would take this stack of leads, right? This was my first week going out on my own. I had a few friends that had kind of like gotten into the business before me, so they were kind of like leading the path. I had seen what they were doing, and they were kind of like, I saw their experience with it. So I was super excited to get into this because it looked like fun. And so I got this pack of direct mail leads. I think I had like 25 of them, and they were for a city called Laurinburg, right? Which is in North Carolina. It was about 2 to 2.5 hours away from where I live, right? So I jump in my car, drive out. I had set a few appointments prior, the night before I was going to leave. And basically I had enough leads for about 2 days in this area. So I was going to go door knock, run appointments for about 2 days. So I get there, and all of my appointments are at these like wild places, right? This is selling final expense. So, trailers where like the walls are caving in, houses where it looks like they haven't had a renovation. They haven't even said the word renovation in the house in like 40 years. Just, things falling apart. The front boards missing on the porches, little spindles like hanging off on the front of the house, roofs caving in, like literally just anything that could possibly be wrong with a house. I saw, right? Bugs all over the walls, cockroaches, the inside smells like cat piss. And then your occasional just like super sweet lady that has like every single thing in her house is like pristine clean, and she has like pictures of her family everywhere. So just like total opposite ends of the spectrum of the senior population that I would run into. And so I remember, going, knocking on these doors and, just looking to find somebody that I could help, right? And so I had a few appointments my first day. I go out and I run these appointments. First lady, she's a, sweet lady, probably in like her 70s. Go to her house, and I remember, quoting her, and I show her a few different options. It's like, $275 a month, $290 a month, and then like $315, right? Those were the options that I had quoted her. And I remember she gave me the objection. She was like, that's just way too expensive. There's no way I'm doing that. And I was, at this point I had no idea what to say, what to do. I was like, okay, well, all right, you want to call me back later? I guess I'll follow up with you. And I remember getting in the car, and I call my upline, and he's like, hey, tell him the situation, like, what should I have done? He's like, well, did you price drop, show her a lower price? It's like, no. Price drop? No, I didn't do that. It's like, yeah, you should definitely, if they say it's too expensive, you should look at showing them a lower option than $300 a month. So yeah, that makes actually a ton of sense. So there's all these like little things that I didn't really know that were costing me deals, right? I just remember like walking out of houses and being like, God, like I should have closed that. That person wanted insurance and I just didn't have the skill to push them over the line. I remember that feeling so many times. And I would just, knock on these doors all day, 8 to 10 hours a day, knocking on these doors and then driving back. And I remember first day, no sales. I had appointments, no sales. Go back home. Second day, go back out into the field. I'm knocking on all these doors. And I remember one instance where I went to like this trailer park, and this was probably like the worst trailer park in town, if we're being honest. Like there's trash in the front yard. Like I don't even think that the city served this area, because they would just burn trash in their front yard instead of using like a dumpster or something. So you could just see all this like scorched earth of garbage and like little trenches in their front yard. This is the way that they dealt with trash, just absolutely terrible. And I remember, knocking on a few doors there, crazy stories. This one guy like was telling me about how he got shot and got in a car accident and then survived. It's like, what on earth? Like how? I didn't understand like how these people were still alive. And talking to different people, setting appointments, just trying to find some sort of opportunity, right? And I remember there was this one door knock. This specifically stands out to me, and it was at the end of this street, right? And I was, just side note, I was mixing in aged leads and new leads. So some of these leads I was doing this in like 2021. Some of these leads were like a few years old, and then some of them were new. So I had like a mixture of all these different leads. And so I drive to the end of this house, or the end of the street, and there's this trailer park supposed to be there. And while I'm driving down the street, I see a bunch of guys who are, they have like their pants are sagging, they have bandanas, and bottles of like, looks like it would be like a 40 that you would get from a gas station. And I walk up to these guys and I'm like, hey, do you know where this house is? Because I couldn't find it. I was like, oh hell, what the hell? I'll just ask him. What's the worst that can happen? And one of the guys was like super friendly. He was like, hey, the house is just right there, but you probably shouldn't be here. I was like, okay. And then this other guy walks up and he's like, waving a gun, and he's like, hey, you need to get the hell out of here. Like he's obviously drunk. Like we don't want what the hell you're selling. Like you need to get the hell out of here. And so I got the hell out of there. Lots of like interesting situations like that, right? But no sales, right? 2 days in, no sales. And at this point, I'm starting to feel a little disheartened, because, my friends are making sales, but nothing for me, right? And I'm out here 10 hours a day hustling, right? Like really, like not just saying that, but like actually putting the work in. Like no lunch break, really. I packed my lunch, would eat it like between door knocks, just going all out, right? Not to mention driving 2 hours away from my house is not something that you take lightly every day. That's quite a commute. 2 hours there, 2 hours back, 4 hours of driving every day, and no sales. And so I'm like, okay, like, what the hell is going on? Third day, I come out, start door knocking again. Door knocking. And I remember it was one lead. It was a 3-year-old lead, right? 3 years old. We talk about aged leads as like a few weeks or a few months old. This lead was 3 years old. It was sent in 2018. So I knock on the door, and this guy answers, go through the, pitch. Hey, I'm looking for a Ronnie. Yeah, this is Ronnie. Ronnie, it's just Tim. I was responding to this form that you had sent us here. It was mentioning, state regulated life insurance programs, and it mentioned a free Walmart gift card. Does that ring a bell? It's like, no. I was like, well, is this your handwriting? Yeah, that's my handwriting. Okay, cool. Well, I was just basically, stopping by to see what you qualify for, and to get you that gift card. You got 5 minutes right now? Lets me in the house. I go into Ronnie's house, and Ronnie's like a good old boy from backwoods of North Carolina. Very, very friendly guy. He's probably I think he was like a vet or something. But I ended up just having a conversation with him. Turns out Ronnie needed insurance. Ronnie's wife / girlfriend needed insurance, and Ronnie's granddaughter needed insurance. So I wrote 3 policies in one house. My first sale was 3 sales, right? And what happened is, immediately after I made the sale, I go and I had another appointment. Well, guess what? I wrote another policy. And then I started door knocking again for the rest of the day. And I found 2 more policies. So in one day, I wrote like 5 or 6 policies after 2 days of nothing. And I ended up finishing my first week selling insurance with about $7,000 in sales. But if you look at the way that it happened, I had no sales in the first bit. And so the takeaway, the biggest thing that I've noticed from my own first week and from other people's first week is you have to find that first one. And once you find the first one, all of the rest of it will come so much easier because your confidence just shoots up and it builds. You get this conviction in you, and you get on fire, you get that streak, right? Once you get into that rhythm, into that groove, the rest of it comes so much easier because you just start to believe so much more. So if you're a new agent and you're just getting on the phone, you're watching this video to figure out what to expect it to suck. Expect it to be really, really hard. And come into it knowing that, and you just have to stick through it until you get those first few sales. And once you do that, it'll become so much easier because your conviction and your confidence will build. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the story of my first week selling insurance. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. Again, biggest takeaway, just put your head down and work and get those first few sales, and the rest will come so much easier. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below and hit the subscribe button for more like this. I'll see you guys soon.